Hi, sorry I had to get mic'd. Hi everyone, I'm Alicia Ybarbo. First off, Jeff Pulver, thank you so much for having us. This is incredible.
Thank you.
Great, it's great to be here.
Thank you.
We work at NBC, and Ann Curry, the fabulous Ann Curry, who's an anchor on the Today Show, was here yesterday speaking, and she came back to 30 Rock with the colleagues who, yes, exactly, with the colleagues who had come to join and listen in, and they had such a great time being here. So we were so revved up and excited to be here, and we're just thrilled. We really are. So thank you very much. Who we are. First off, Marianne and I first got to know each other as producers at NBC. We were on this little show called Later Today, and it was with Asha Blake and Florence Henderson and Jody Applegate, and it was sort of like the trial third hour, what turned into be the Today Show's real third hour, and the show kind of turned into that third hour, and Marianne and I ended up working at the Today Show, where we're producers. We have done everything together pretty much. We started off as producers at NBC, where we were single. Then we started, dating our boyfriends, now husbands. We planned our weddings together. We planned, babies together, showers, sharing clothes, swapping things. So we have a pretty tight relationship. And when you've been, I guess, working with someone for close to double-digit years, that's a good thing, but it also starts to show your age. So it's good to know you. At least, hopefully, we still look okay. But as producers at the Today Show, I guess the best way to describe it is, so say Ann Curry needs to go and interview, so say she just interviewed President Obama. I don't typically do those sort of segments, but what you would do in that situation is do all the prep work, all the research, type everything up, give her a great packet, so that all she needs to do is sit down the evening before and really read and absorb. We write sample questions, and then they usually tweak it from there. But I generally do a little more lifestyle, health, medical, 8 o'clock segments primarily, and Marianne is the world traveler who does all the adventurous segments. She's always jetting off. Where in the world is Matt Lauer? She's on some mountain some minute, and the next minute she's on a beach, parasailing. So, so she's got a little bit of a more adventurous soul in her. It's just fun. It's a lot of fun, but it's hard work, and so we had that hat with us. But then once we started having babies and having families, we adopted another hat.
So about 4 years into our work at the Today Show, as Alicia said, we've been there 11 years. A funny thing happened. All of these women in their 30s started having babies. And Alicia was one of the first moms on the show, and then I followed about a year later. And I'm going to tell you about my daughter, but I'm going to change her name to protect the innocent. So we'll call her Martha. Martha was a really, really, really bad, cranky baby. She cried all the time, she didn't like to sleep, and she was at her very worst when I put her in a car seat. So one day I'm at work and I'm complaining about Martha in the car seat, and then I had one of my coworkers say to me, how about this sit and stroll? It kind of keeps them up a little bit higher. It turns into a stroller. It's just this magical machine. So fast forward, I'm on my first trip, I'm using my stroller, I'm using the car seat, it's working brilliantly. I'm surrounded by all these people at Miami Airport asking me all about this kind of like super duper stroller. So I tell them, it's a sit and stroll, and then I thought to myself, wow, all the things I'm learning about motherhood, I'm learning from my colleagues, the on-air talent like Ann Curry, who's my mom idol, and all the experts that come on the show. So I immediately called up Alicia and said, I have an idea. We have to write a book. It's going to be called Today's Moms. And we're going to combine all the expert advice that we have from the talent, from the people who come on the show, and then from the producers and all of our knowledge of this kind of first phase of life.
So this is where the social media element comes in. Now, when Marianne called me on that Thanksgiving weekend, I think it was 2004, And that was a period where there were a lot of female bloggers, mom bloggers, but you know, it wasn't to the height that it is today. It took us about 4 years to write the book, only because we licensed the rainbow and the peacock from NBC. I mean, we had the name Today on as our title. So we had a legal staff of about 9 at NBC who were carefully checking every T that we crossed and I that we dotted. And just to give you an example, we'd turn in a manuscript and they would seriously look at it word for word. Comments would come back like, and it's a book about, you know, baby's first year, and we'd get comments like, you use the word boobs, too many references to boobies in the book. And we look at each other like, what are we supposed to use? They wanted us to use the anatomically correct name for boobs, which is breastises. And
breasticles.
Moms don't talk to each other that way. So there were certain fights that we had to just, we stood our ground when it came to calling a boob a boob. So, you know, it wasn't all silly and it wasn't all, you know, fun like that. But, you know, that's why it took so long to get the book written, is just because of all the checks and balances. But, you know, in the end, the book dropped in 2009, and that was probably the height of it all. The height of when people were finally getting onto Twitter and realizing, wow, this is a powerful tool. And when the book dropped, we started, and this was all in our free time. This wasn't anything we were doing in our day-to-day. This was, we went home, we wrote, we put this thing together. So when book drops, momentum's going, we're doing all this press, we're starting to blog, and we realized it was too much on our plates, and something had to give. The work-life balance we seriously had to look at, and it was a reflection of us, and we decided, we're not going to blog. We're not going to do that. Other people do it really well. We couldn't. So what do? We took to Twitter and loved it immediately. It's quick, it's dirty, it's fast. Things that we tweet about, we're now working on a 4-hour show, so we're not constantly writing those 4 hours. So things, you know, when we're watching the refeed like everyone else or watching in the morning, we'll see segments that really appeal to us, and so we'll tweet about that. We'll tweet about segments that we need help with. We're looking for real people examples, so we'll tweet that sort of stuff out. We have great relationships with people, and you know, we try to keep that personal connection as much as possible. So we really enjoy talking and having a more humorous side to our conversations on Twitter.
And we also use it as a resource for guests on our show. So, for example, somebody might email us and say, "Hey, we're looking for a mom of 4 with all the children under the age of 5." God bless her. And so we will help facilitate that and help get the word out. And we know a lot of you guys that are here today tweeted us and said that you were going to be here. So if we haven't met you, we really want to meet you. And we were hoping to take questions, but I don't think we're going to have time. So we'll leave you with the question that we're asked most of all anytime they meet us. What are Matt, Ann, Al, and Natalie really like? Oh, we're out of time. No. Anyway, they're just as great as you see on TV, and probably even better and even more caring and loving than you'd ever imagine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks again.